This Pitch Breakfast video is brought to you by Spangler and Agins, attorneys for Charlotte's startup community.
Rami Sarian, co-founder and CEO of Honeyfi. We're an app that helps couples manage their finances together. So no surprise that finances are a struggle for a couple. In fact, millennials say that 1 out of 2 argue about finances on a daily or weekly basis. We're focused on helping them by creating shared budgets, shared tools like private chat, joint transaction history that allows them to have transparency and collaboration between the couple. We'll also have a savings account that helps them actually achieve their savings goals. And we'll use our algorithm to periodically move money from their checking accounts into that savings account. We'll also go a step further and bring in partners to help them actually purchase those things that they're saving for. So if they're saving for a trip, we'll bring in Expedia to help them buy that trip in the app. Or if they're saving for a home, we'll bring in some lending partners and create a marketplace for them to choose from. So really create that end-to-end experience for our customers. Our team is financial services experts. We were a previous startup called Movin, which is a fintech startup in New York. It was one of the first alternative banks. It started with Simple and GoBank and the like. And we've all had experience at the large banks working as well. Currently, we're working through our bank partnerships to establish the sponsor bank for our Honeyfi savings account. We're working with 4 out of the top 20 banks. And we're also working on some of our distribution partnerships with financial advisors as well as digital influencers in the financial blogging space to get out to customers. So we'll have our MVP ready by the end of this month and get ready to test with current users and are looking to close out our bank partnership deals by early next year. So thanks for your time.
Well done. That was great, man.
Rami, you did a great job. I think, I don't know whether you prepare a lot or you just know what you're talking about, but usually it comes across very clearly. I think you were very organized and you hit a lot of the points that people want to hear. 2 minutes is tough. So your pitch is different, and I think your company is a little different. So for me, and I hear a lot of pitches, I thought that the idea was a little unique, a little different. I don't hear I hear a lot of ideas in the finance space, but this one I don't think I've heard before. So which means it's you have the opportunity to pitch it a little bit differently. I think I wouldn't give you the advice that I gave some other people. I think talking about the idea itself, that's good because you don't hear a lot about this particular segment. It is a segment. I mean, I'm not saying I don't hear a whole lot about budgeting and planning and things like that, but you're particularly focused on a segment which is couples and wanting to do this together. What stuck in my mind, and let me just actually go back to some of the things that I thought were useful that you mentioned. You created credibility in a good way. You could have just gone on and talked about your backgrounds, but you did just enough to create credibility about your expertise, what you've done before. You talked about traction in a good way without throwing a bunch of numbers, which is great because maybe you're early enough that you don't have all the numbers, but you make me think that you've been talking to bankers and you've been talking to partners. So I'm like, he's make progress. You did it in the right way. But I kept thinking about the market size and the market and the motivation of customers. Because I think many couples, only one person maybe is responsible for the finances. So I was thinking, how big is this segment of the population where this is a problem, where they actually want to both be active and have a say in a joint effort? So I'm not questioning it, I'm just curious, because I think it talks about the point that is the essence, which is how big is your opportunity in the problem? Go ahead, please.
Yeah. So no, it's a good question. And so there are roughly 30 million millennials in a relationship now, a serious relationship, which means they're living together all the way up to married with kids, runs the gamut. And you are right. There is typically what we found as a house CFO, right? One who's in charge of most of the activities. But they actually have told us, it's interesting, it's on 2 sides. The CFO wants a better way to engage their partner so that they're frankly not having to constantly explain what's happening. And on the other side, it gives them more view into what's happening. And so we're working on creating 2 different views. So one for that CFO that's a little more detailed, and one for the they call it the non-CFO, that's more straightforward. And it gives them the confidence when they're going out to spend or to buy that they don't have to go ask their partner, can I do this or whatnot? They know right away. So I think it's an interesting thing that we'll see as we develop the product. How do we shape it for the different users within the couple?
So this is for millennials? I think millennials have a particular or have a different need than older people?
They do. So the reason we're focused on them first is, one, they're in that life stage, so just by pure age, right? They're starting to get married, they're starting to live together, they're having that conversation around merging their finances. But they also act differently. So because they come into a relationship with typically dual incomes, they are financially independent longer. They've got their own ideas of how to manage money, and they don't typically merge everything together. In fact, we've found in our research it's about a third and a third and a third. So a third do the traditional, when we get married, we merge everything. A third do yours, mine, and ours, which means they typically split bills and things like that. And then a third actually keep everything separate. And he pays this bill and that.
So what, just the last thing, and I'll give it to you, Chris. What are the features? What are the things that I would see in your application that I don't see in Mint or something like that? Some other more traditional tool?
Yeah, good question. So the first would be around the controls. So you can choose which accounts you want to share. You don't have to, it's not an all or nothing proposition. So it provides a little bit of that control there. The second is around some of the social features, we call it. So we built in a private chat for the couple to communicate with each other just on finances or non-finance related things. We'll have a unified shared transaction history, so you can see all of the transactions as one, and you can actually comment on transactions. So you're like, hey, what was this $100 purchase at Best Buy? And you're like, oh, it was this. But actually, it allows us to also record sentiment. So we'll have the ability to have like Facebook reactions on your transactions. So as we start to give advice on where you can cut back if you need to save for something, or what types of opportunities we want to offer you, we have a bit of that customer sentiment because we've tracked what things you like and don't like. And chatbots are actually one of the places we're going to go as well, to provide another way to interact with the customer.
I know, sorry, I said that was the last thing, but I have one more.
It's like this everywhere we go.
I know. Do people really want to be talking about these things over chat? I mean, does that help the conversation? Is that part of the, because I think that could be interesting. Like, do they have do you think couples have a difficult time talking in person about these things and the chat makes it easier?
I don't know. I mean, so we've done some studies on it, and interesting enough, in some of our focus group, people say we tend to talk about it over iMessage or text message because I can think about what I'm going to say before I say it. So do we think that it should replace that one-to-one conversation in person? No. But if it can help provide the framework for a better conversation, then that's a win for us, right?
So most investors, most professional investors, invest in fewer than 1% of the companies that they meet in a year, right? One person that I know said to me that last year they looked at 2,000 deals and they invested in 4, right? So like, think about that for a minute, right? You've got this huge sorting problem where you're looking at all these deals and like your expectation is that you're going to say no, right? And so you're kind of marching down the road and you're just looking for a reason to say no. Mm-hmm. And there's like lots of common reasons why you just say no, right? And your presentation, dude, was fantastic. And like, you never, at no point during your pitch, did you like give me any reason to think this is terrible and I want to move on, right? Which is like, that's a really hard goal threshold to meet because most interactions with a prospective investment, like you walk away from it going, I'd really like to help you, but there's no way I'm going to give you money. And you're super credible and you seem to know your space. And he did something really interesting. You really don't have any traction, right? You don't have any customers or anything like that at this point, which is fine. Like everybody goes to that stage, right? But he positioned his company as like on the cusp of getting a bank deal and about to launch their MVP and all that sort of thing. He really positioned the company effectively at the stage that they're at, And so like, I thought it was a really terrific presentation and, like I'm confused that people don't put their money together. It seems like that, but whatever, that's me. But I thought it was a really awesome pitch. So what were you going to say?
I have not, no.
Smart Sheets, and it's about $120 a year. So how much is your application? And is it like an
$119 a year. No, just kidding. So we are, no, it's a good question. So we are focused right now 100% on the app, primarily because that's where people are. You have it with you all the time, right? Our goal is right now to make it free to the consumer, so free to the end user, and our business model is based off of those partnerships we're building in the app. So if you're saving up for that computer or that trip and you buy it through our app, then we get a cut of that. So, and you'll get a good deal and everybody wins on that front. We have considered some premium features that we could offer within the app, but at this point, that's not out there.
All right.
Please do. Honeyfi.com.
See, the meeting was worth something, right? The person in the doorway. What do you want to say?
How do you plan on attacking student loans? Because that's the major problem for millennials, especially in the
Completely, yeah. So that's actually one of the first things as we take the customers through the journey is to understand what they currently have, debts, assets, et cetera. And we're working right now with a couple partners, or to establish partnerships, I should say, with Common Bond and SoFi, which are the two leaders in the student refinance space, to offer that as a way to bring down your monthly expenses. That's a great question.
I'd like to tag on to that.
Sir?
That's
Do
what,
you have a way to kind of guide them through the conversation with one customer more or less the other?
Yeah, so I mean that's to be open. That's the journey we're on, right? So we've got a framework, and we're testing it to see how does it work, right? And so is it perfect yet? No, but that's what we're working on.
I want to take the reverse side of that as well. The statistics are out that the millennial parent generation is actually contributing more to college savings through different plans, 529 plan being the most relevant, than the Generation X and the baby boomers. So are you tagging onto that too? And the reason for that is because so many millennials came out with debt. They don't want their young children. And our friend from Haiti there with his little boy and Mary, y'all gonna need that college savings. So is that something you can tag on to as well?
100%, yeah.
Okay.
So I have 2 kids and a third on the way, so
Yeah.
we're right on that train.
That was a really interesting statistic
crowd, yeah.
for all the right reasons.
Yeah.
What do you want to say?
So I acknowledge I'm not in your target market. But in listening to your pitch, I wasn't particularly drawn in when you were talking about aggregating mortgage lenders and creating a marketplace, or shopping and helping save for a trip through Expedia or a travel site. I know how to do that. I have those tools already.
Sure.
What piqued my interest was when you said, I don't know whether you said it or implied it, but basically we're going to help you get along with your partner.
Mm-hmm.
And there is tons of evidence out there that financial stress is the #1 issue between customers. I don't have to tell you that. That's probably what's driving this model.
Sure.
But I think that should be more part of your message.
Okay.
I think really saying, hey, we have all these great financial tools to help you is nice, but there's lots of financial tools out there. Saying, we've got an app that can address the #1 stressor in your relationship with your partner.
Mm-hmm.
Now you've got me interested and I want to know more.
No, it's good feedback. Our other tagline was going to be, get excited to hear honey again. But
I think the big feedback on that was the idea that the members of that relationship look at finances differently. There's a CFO, there's a non-CFO, and that the ability to present that in different manners. And I will tell you flat open, that's one of the things with which I struggle, because I'm a recovering investment banker, finance guy, and so I'm like, here are the numbers, here's what it looks like, and my wife doesn't see it that way. And so being able to enable me to manage it the way I like to manage it, but at the same time present it that way, I think it's on that point, which is more about the social aspect of it than it is just the nuts and bolts of managing it.
It's 2 customers in like 3 minutes. It's like,
They-
holy shit. If
and
we can
that-
keep this up, we'll be
That is
Exxon.
exactly what
That's
I was referring to when I said you have I would not give the advice that I'm giving you to other people.
Yeah.
But you could talk a lot more about the idea itself. I mean, these 2 points are excellent, and you
It's a
probably
good idea,
could
man.
have done more with that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He was pitching to investors versus consumers. So that's
Yeah,
important.
that's-
Same thing though, I mean, but as an
Well-
investor, you still want to understand that idea, and those points, I think, do make a difference, because we hear a lot about features on the financial side, But, you know, the fact that you actually, this tool is gonna help you get along with your partner, I don't hear that much.
I'm a financial advisor, and I would definitely send my clients to you, because I'm not a marriage counselor. At that point, sometimes it's absolutely true what he's saying. It's absolutely true. I've been doing it for 5 years, and you have one that is not really interested until something goes wrong, and then they have no idea why it got to that point, and then there's this tension. And I think that's one of the huge reasons for divorce, is financial difficulties and miscommunication.
That, you know, like, and I know you want to move on, but that to me, like, there are a lot of non-traditional channels that might prove to be really good for you in terms of getting the word out, like marriage counselors, like that kind of thing, right? So it's like, yeah, but the interesting thing that he did is, like, you're not very far along. I mean, you're awesome. Congratulations on the success so far, right? Great pricing, but like, his presentation made us all want to talk about the merits of the idea and the size of the market and all that sort of thing. And that's what you can accomplish in 2 minutes. Like, that's as far as you can get. So you did an awesome job, I thought. Way to go, man.
Thank you, Ronnie.
Good.